All right, we're here to do our leadership call. For those of us that went to leadership, we're just going to do a kind of a recap of everything that we went over. We'll just touch on things. We're not going to be able to go through all of it, obviously. But we've got Vanessa was there, and Barb was there, and Teresa and myself. So we've got 4 of us. A few others were supposed to be coming on, so they'll come on and chime in. But I just wanted to start with the theme of leadership was belief. So talking, kind of going off of Reunion, if you went to Star and Superstar Summit, going off of the growth mindset idea. Deb Bowden, she is the new, do you remember her title, Barbara, Teresa, or Vanessa? She took over, I think, Janet's spot at home office. So she's one of the executives now. She came from Franklin Covey, Heather Gorsuch, that's what I was talking about earlier. So she came from Franklin Covey, so she's got a great, she has a ton of great ideas around just planning and organizing, being consistent, and just all of those philosophies that Franklin Covey has. So in her talk, the one thing that I found that was interesting was that she talked about your mindset influences belief, focus, and action. So she kind of talked about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset, and that we always want to be in that growth mindset. We want to thrive. We don't want to be static in what we do. But then she had us evaluate kind of where we are and what I believe and what I'm doing and how am I changing or not changing. So we got to draw this awesome graph mixer, if you will, of different things like belief, focus, effort, challenges, mistakes, feedback, and kind of where we were on the graph. So it was kind of fun to do that. She also mentioned this see, do, get cycle of just seeing and doing and getting. And then she also threw in focus as well in there. So without the belief that we have, where would we be? That was kind of one of the questions she posed. Do any of the other 3 of you have any thoughts around that? That was pretty much her. She was pretty awesome. Oh, she did do a little bit more. They talked about the, I can't think of what they're called, the 7 things, the prospecting, host coaching, booking, presenting, follow-up, sponsoring, leadership. Yeah. They talked a lot about last reunion, last leadership, kind of last year. And they're taking that and putting a twist on it and going to implement another program. It's called Focus on the 5. Is that what they're calling it?
I think so.
Yeah. I can't see where I wrote them all down. Focus on the 5. So 5 fundamentals of team building. So this year, as you'll see at World Tour in the next month and at Reunion, they'll be kind of doing a lot of trainings about focusing on these 5. They're going to be doing workshops and such. The 5 fundamentals are prepare, discover, coach, connect, and replicate. How many of you participated in the accelerated leadership? I know that Carrie Hickey did, but Ani did. So they're going to be offering this the end of January to all directors and above. Is that correct? Yes, Danielle's nodding her head.
That was my understanding.
So it's an accelerated leadership, and Carrie and Bonnie could tell you a little bit more about it. Basically, they require you to do 8 parties a month and 2 recruits a month. That's to stay in the program. That's what you have to do. Carrie and Bonnie, do you want to take a second and share your thoughts around the accelerated leadership? If you remember. Carrie.
Yes. So, like you said, 8 parties and 2 recruits, but you also had to be on a Zoom call or listen to the Zoom call, do one-on-one call or small group call, as well as the big group call every month. We had a call to action. One month we had to do like a PowerPoint type thing of what our neighborhood looked like and how we wanted it to grow to present to our teams. There was a different call to action every month. I can't remember off the top of my head what the other ones were.
But how did you see a difference in your business? Did you see a difference in your business?
Huge difference. I usually tend to slide a lot in the spring and summer, and it kept me accountable, having to make sure that I did all the things to stay in the program. I'm pretty competitive, so I definitely did not want to be thrown out or not make the requirements. So my paycheck was a lot nicer. My team was growing a lot more. I definitely want to do it again when it's offered again because it made a huge difference.
So that would be our challenge to each other, because we're all doing this together, is to get into that program. Because it's only going to help you achieve the next incentive. So they also announced, you probably heard through the grapevine, that they're launching an incentive on February 1st. Emma's shaking her head. So good news moment right here. They're going to be doing a 6-month incentive starting February 1st. They haven't announced the incentive yet, but think big. That's all I'm going to say. So we'll have the fall incentive period that is as we've had it in years past, right? August 1st through January 31st. And then, oh my gosh, there's my dancer. He's supposed to be going to bed. And then February 1st through August 31st. Am I messing up my dates? July 31st, or is it through August? July. Okay. Okay, good night. Love you. Go to bed. Good. I'll see you in the morning. No. You want to say hi to your people? Say hi. Okay, good night. Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. So that's super exciting. So I would challenge you all to try and get into the accelerated leadership. I'm going to take a second stab at it. I did it and I got kicked out, just being honest. So I'm going to try again and do it. And hopefully I think that will help all of us get more points and build our business through the springtime. So that was Deb pretty much. Any thoughts from those of you that were there about Deb? Thoughts that you liked or things that she said that spoke to you?
I think she was great. She was super motivating. I think she's going to do some great things for Scentsy. She's got great vision. I don't know. She just really kind of spoke to me. I liked her a lot.
I agree, Danielle.
I like where she wants to take it, right? Because she's very focused on retention and really growing ourselves. And I think they're implementing some great things, both for training and sponsoring. I just think she's bringing a wealth of information over with her. It's only going to make us better.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else?
I just agree. I think that that was my favorite of the whole leadership, even though there was so much good information, especially when we were in groups. Just listening to her talk. And I honestly, okay, this might be funny, but I didn't understand the growth fixed mindset that much after reunion. Like, I was like, I kind of understood, but I didn't have like any aha moments or like, oh, I get it. And her explaining it, I finally had like my aha moments.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, this is what it means. Like,
she really broke it down, right?
Yes.
She really broke it down.
I know Heidi was excited and like it was good stuff, but I really didn't like receive it.
But how do you do that, right? Like, how do you change your mindset? What are the things you need to focus on to have that mindset shift?
I think just her breaking it down and explaining like a fixed mindset assumes things, a growth mindset, thrives on challenge. Just like her comparisons, I was like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
here we go.
Aha.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and
mean, there's so many pages from her.
I know. I just went and pulled my notes out, so I had like a point of reference.
So if you were to go back now and listen to Heidi's talk from reunion, it would like, your eyes would be open a little bit more. So maybe we all should do that too, to go listen to it and just be reminded. Because really, in any situation that you're dealing with, you have that choice. You can have that fixed mindset or you can have that growth mindset. And whatever you're doing, whether it be dealing with your children, whether it be trying a new recipe, right? Or trying a new workout program, or reading a book that you maybe haven't ever read that genre before, or something to that effect. Your mindset is going to affect the outcome of whatever it is you're doing. You're dealing with a team member that may be a little bit frustrating to you, where she just doesn't see the big picture and she's always negative, yada, yada, yada. And if you can see the fixed mindset on these people. I see it all the time. But trying to help them see the growth in what they're experiencing is oftentimes hard to do. But then also seeing it in ourselves, recognizing when we have a fixed mindset, that I think is probably the hardest thing. Like, we've tried things, they work, and so we just do it again. But realizing that maybe that's not going to work all the time, you have to change your mindset. And so that, I think it's a constant struggle, and it's a constant learning curve where you have to constantly keep learning and trying and just growing in yourself and with your teams, because your teams are going to mimic what you do. If you're trying new things and you're doing different things every month to get sales, your team will see that and they'll be like, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, that's a great idea. Right? Like these holiday mugs that went gangbuster in December, right? Like, was that not the craziest thing? Like, here's this great little idea. Let's make these mugs and assemble them and make them cute. And someone sells 300 of them in a week. I mean, that right there is a great growth mindset example in changing the way we present something, and you're able to sell so many more of it. So she was awesome. Okay, so the next part, Jason Harwood spoke, and he spoke on focus, which was really ironic because you know Jason and watching him in videos, he's focused, but he can go here and there and everywhere in the matter of seconds. So he talked about the process. So we have a goal right here. So our goal this year is to double our team wholesale volume. Let's use that as an example. And the outcome is going to be doubling your wholesale volume, your team wholesale volume. Well, the process, the in between, how you get from the goal to the outcome is the process. And that's what he says we need to, 1, improve our process, and 2, obsess on the process. So all the things that you're doing, maybe you could even say the mundane things of the business that you're doing, the process of the business is what we have to improve, and what we have to, what was the word? We have to obsess on. We have to obsess on the process so that we can get the outcome that we want. He also said outcomes are a reflection of a process. It's the focus on the process that moves you to the goal. So all of those mundane things are going to help you reach that goal. So we then had a worksheet. Barb, do you want to talk about the worksheet? Are you feeling up for that?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Do you want to talk about the belief statement worksheet that you were talking about, that we chatted about at leadership?
I do not have it in front of me.
Okay, that's all right. I have it in front of me. So they had us write down a belief statement, which was intended to be like a solid, hard goal for the year. So their example was, I will promote to superstar director by building my Scentsy business. That was their solid belief statement. But to get there, there's a process. And so we all we had to sit at our tables and we had to think about it. And then we went around and talked about it. So there was a lot of roundtable time of us connecting and sharing ideas and kind of seeing where everybody was at. And I really liked that. So we made this belief statement, and then we had to kind of focus it in on, okay, where am I at today with this goal? Well, I have 3 frontline directors maybe, okay? So to get to superstar director, I need 4. So the gap is 1 director. But the gap really moving further with that, the gap is my 1 frontline consultant having 4 star consultants, right? Breaking it down even more to close that gap. Or maybe I'm not getting paid at title as a director. And so I need to focus on having 4 star consultants hit their numbers consistently, breaking it down even smaller to make it that much easier. Does that make sense? And that surprisingly was a big aha moment for a lot of people. I got to pull up my phone to read. Mindy, she was one of the directors that was there, and she wasn't able to get on the call. So this is what I'm just going to read what she said. She said, I'm sad I can't be on the call tonight, but I had a previous engagement I had to do. That being said, I wanted to share my aha moment. One of the hardest things with my team is the simple fact that I have a bunch of people that want to be a director, but for whatever reason, they lose faith in themselves or simply don't recruit like they should. An eye-opener for me was to get someone to director status under you. You simply have to have them get 4 star consultants under them. How much easier is that to think of instead of the big 10,000 TWV? To me, thinking of smaller goals is so much better. It helps it seem doable. I'm now planning on working with my leaders with this goal. I truly think it will help them in the long run recruit, maintain team numbers, and eventually hit director status. So that was a big aha moment, I think, for a lot of people. When you break it down like that, it makes a huge difference.
I think,
yeah, chime in whenever.
I think for me, with the whole belief statement, I think the word they used was SMART.
Oh yeah.
Smart goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. I realized that even I did it myself a lot when I would say or think of a goal, or it would be, I want to be director, but it wasn't how I'm going to get there, what the time frame for me to get there, is that achievable? I mean, I could want to be a director, but if I'm an essential consultant with like no parties left, is that really going to happen right away? So I think the SMART, is it an acronym? Is that what they're called?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was kind of my aha moment, because it really made me change. Even in my notes, I can see the difference in my original belief statement to applying those 5 things to my new statement.
So what were the acronyms for SMART?
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound.
That's right. I was watching you write that down. I didn't write it down. No, but
I wrote that down too.
I just, yeah.
I love that. So after Jason spoke, this was another thing that he said that was an aha moment. Vanessa, maybe you posted it? I can't remember. But Jason talked about how the process is really a very important part. And he said, if it doesn't work out, it is serious. Like, you have to take it serious when these little things don't work out. Was that you, Vanessa, that shared that?
I mean, I liked it. I'm not sure if I shared it.
I saw someone post about it this week since being home, and I couldn't remember. Sorry. But we need to make progress to our goals. We have to fail. And so if we fail, if it doesn't work out, we have to take that seriously, and we have to reevaluate. And improve our process. So improving that process is going to be the most important thing that you do. So
and
if you
then remember, that's when he also added in there about you have to take it serious, but not personally.
that was the last of it. I didn't.
And because I mean, I take that to heart because I have a hard time with constructive criticism. I feel I have to get past the point where I feel like a failure, but I need those mistakes in order, or to identify those mistakes in order to help myself grow and not take it as, oh man, I suck.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of my thing, is to take things seriously but not personally, in order to grow.
Because really, let's be honest, if you have a goal for someone, say you're trying to get one more consultant certified before the end of the month, right? And you're trying to feed them idea after idea of how to get sales and how to market themselves and how to get just one more person to order this perfect Scentsy bundle or something, right? They need like $300. So you break it down real little, where they have like actual numbers of how much they need to sell of what, and you've done the process right for them, but they have to go do their own process of actually selling it and finding people and talking to people and stepping out of their comfort zone. And if they fail at the process that you've tried to put in place for them, you just have to go back. You take it serious, right? Because maybe they didn't connect with the way you did it. Maybe they needed it delivered a different way. You can't take it personal, like Teresa said. You can't take it personal. You just have to go reevaluate and start another process over and try and figure out a different way. And maybe give it a week, because how much time do we have left? Like 3 weeks, right? Give it a week, and if it doesn't work, say, okay, scratch that. Let's try this. Try this instead and see if this works. So obsessing in the process is the most important thing. Okay, so Danielle, I think you were mentioning, are you still on here? I feel like people are moving and I can't see who's leaving and not staying.
Yes.
You were talking about you like Chuck's part. Did you want to talk about that at all? Wasn't that you that we were talking about that?
Were we?
I can't remember. Maybe it was a late night. Maybe we were doing something. Maybe someone was doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. You're fine. So Chuck went over like the Scentsy goals, all the things they've done for the last year, and just listed off.
Oh, yeah. I did like that part.
Yeah,
It was kind of crazy. Huh?
I super appreciated it.
It was crazy to me to think that only 30% was it of people reorder more than once.
Yeah.
Order more than once.
70.
Like that 70% don't reorder.
Right.
Don't reorder. So 30% do. Right.
But I
That
think it sounds more staggering when you say 70.
Yeah, it's true. 70% of people don't reorder after the first time. And that statistic to me was crazy. It just shows that we need to do a better job of following up, myself included. I know I'm guilty of not always following up with people, and it's something I need to implement a better system for. And the girls on my team need to implement a better system.
I love my follow-up binder system. I know a lot of people do tech savvy, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a pen and paper gal. Every time it works for me.
Yeah.
Good.
So I think that if people just find the system that they're actually going to use, that's what's going to work. So, but it was mind blowing to hear.
It was.
That was just
like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right.
Even now, I'm still like,
holy crap. Right.
That's a lot of customers that we have
Seriously.
not retained.
Yep.
So that was one of the things. So Scentsy sets goals every year of what they as a company want to influence to impact us. So that was number 3. They want to increase their second time purchasers. They want that number, that 70%, to go way low, meaning they want people to be reordering more frequently. The other one was to hold your ground, which basically means increase year over year, sales wise, recruiting wise, all of the financial number wise. And then 2, they want consultants to stay longer. They want to help build connections within people within our organizations.
Do you know what the average amount of time a consultant stays is?
I don't, but
I don't think they touched on that, but I'm curious.
I'll ask, because that would be an interesting stat to know.
Yeah.
Will you message
I would
me?
imagine it's not very long on average.
Yeah, it will. Huh?
I said I would imagine it's not very long on average.
Right. Probably not
based on the old disclosure statement.
Yeah.
They have that first line and then that blurb on the bottom of this includes everyone, like the pit snatchers.
Right. Yeah.
So it's hard to gauge, I think, because all those people are in there that never intended really to do anything anyway.
Definitely. Okay, so
yeah.
Go ahead.
I liked how he talked about last year too, though, like explaining what their goals were last year and then showing us how and what they did to help us with that and help the whole company. Like, it was really like eye-opening, looking at, okay, they did this and this was the reason why. And I was like, wow, like they put so much, even more thought than I ever realized into like really making this work for us. And
did you write any of those down, Vanessa? I didn't write those down.
2017, the goal was more people, more parties.
And
so he just talked, I didn't write down every month, but
so they focused on like recruiting. So they gave us the $49 recruiting. That was one of the programs they launched to help.
The diffuser special.
Yeah.
The regional
they did when you joined.
And then the hand kit, the free warmer, the diffuser, the Go promo, like he talked about all those. And it was cool just to see, like, in hindsight, how much they put into trying to help us get to all these goals. And like, it wasn't like, here's the goal, now go make it happen. They literally like set it up for us.
They had a plan in place. They had all these promotions that they were going to do to help us get more parties and more consultants.
And
they focused on the process.
They obsessed on the process.
They obsessed on the
even though we didn't really know.
True.
Like,
yeah.
Know that that's why they were doing it.
Right.
So,
I think it was cool too, though, I think it was cool that they told us what the goals were, and I also think it was cool that he said that they didn't meet. Was it the more people goal or the more parties? Which one it was, they didn't meet one of the goals, and it kind of made me feel like,
okay, like not just me.
Makes a goal and doesn't necessarily make it, but then showing like their new plan for this year, how they're gonna turn that around. So
revamp it.
It's basically they're practicing what they preach.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and Chuck said easy to achieve goals are boring.
They are. That's so true.
Which is the same thing that Jason talked about. Like, if your goal isn't really something you're passionate about, then you're not going to obsess on the process.
Yep. You have to obsess on the process. Like, that was my, obsess on the process. That was my big takeaway.
I wonder how many times they said obsess.
I have it written on every page, I think.
I have it on almost every page.
Well, and then after we did our belief statement, we went and we wrote down the process of how we were going to get that belief statement to come true, right? So breaking it down even deeper to the process. And then we had to write O for outcome and P for process next to the things we listed. Was O for outcome?
We had to go, right? Yeah, we had to go back and focus on, was that an outcome goal or was that part of your process goal?
Yeah. And so you then had to decide, was this a process goal or an outcome? And defining that really made me realize, oh, I have a lot of outcome goal, like outcome procedure
Yeah.
things versus process things. Like one of my process was 10 recruiting packets a month. For me to do that and to really challenge my team and group to do 10 recruiting packets a month. If we're wanting to build our team, I think part of my goal was to get out of this sticking around 4,000 consultants area and bump it to stick around 5,000 consultants area. So this goes for all of you because you're all part of this group. 10 recruiting packets a month, every month this whole year. Like that's my big push for me, my team, and my group. That's what I'm going to really push this year. Haven't announced it yet, Bonnie, because it's still just coming off, right? But hopefully it will trickle down and that your superstar directors will do something similar, if not maybe even the same, because that ultimately we want to build our communities and we want to grow our teams. And how is that going to happen if we're not having those conversations? So really getting some processing things written down and implementing into our business to make that outcome become what we want it to be. So then, so these are just some things that I wrote down that I liked. Action requires effort. Be resilient, right? Don't take it personal. Embrace challenges, learn from mistakes, and embrace feedback. So here you've worked with this new recruit that you're wanting to get certified by the end of the month. Get some feedback from her. What do you think about what we tried? How did it work? How did it not work? What didn't you like? What did you like? To get feedback so that you know how to improve the process next go around. I really like that. So going on, the focus on the 5 is one thing that you'll see a lot of this at World Tour next month and at Reunion. We talked about the accelerated. No. So then that was basically the first day. And it was, is there anything I missed from that first day that you guys really liked? No?
Hey, Lindsay, can I share something? This is Rochelle.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm driving, so I'm watching the road. That's why my eyes aren't on the screen. We're
You're
almost
good.
home. I was not at leadership, but I love what you just talked about on staying obsessed with the process, because I had a group call the other night, and I was really talking about having an actual picture, like something that you can picture as a goal. Because if you don't have something, you talked about it earlier, but if you don't have something that you really have a goal that you can see, then you're just spinning circles and you don't have something you're really working for. And so I like the saying obsess on the process, because I mean, as y'all all know, I'm super excited that we're going to have 2 incentive trips, because instead of people working their business for half the year, they're going to be working them for the whole year to earn something.
You're breaking up.
And this year, I focused on earning, because I'm in the middle of nowhere. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good now.
Okay, I'm in Podunk Waller. Okay, what do y'all expect?
I know.
No, what I was gonna say is the obsessed in the process is kind of like incentive trips, and I'm really excited that we're gonna have 2 now, so that people aren't working their business for just half a year, because I know I tend to work mine harder when I have a goal, right, or something that I'm looking for. And so by obsessing in the process, I guess you would call it, like I had more recruits this fall than I've had the whole last year of 2016. I had more in 2017 in like 3 months.
That's awesome.
So, but I like the saying. That's what I wanted to share, is obsess in the process is so true, because that's what we need to be training our teams and our downline, because that's breaking it down more than just saying have a goal. Like there's a process to get there, and you have to obsess on it in order to achieve it. But you have to have a real goal in mind for you to obsess on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
that.
it has to really be something that matters to you. Do you know what I mean? It has to be something like of your heart of hearts, makes the world of difference. Otherwise, that goal, and it's happened to me, I'll sit here and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. And 2 weeks later, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care anymore. Like, it has to be a goal that's like something to you. Like,
That
sure.
I really want this.
something that drives you to obsess in the process, right? Like,
Yeah, it really has to be heartfelt. It can't just be like some, she's doing it, so I'm going to do it type of thing. It has to mean something.
like 9:30 or 10. Go to bed.
I liked Jeff. I think Jeff was the first day too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Jeff was. I didn't take notes on that part because I was sitting over on the side. If you want to share what he said.
I mean, his was pretty like kind of stuff we've already heard, but it was just he talked about like more about obsessing the process, action we have to take to achieve, and then he talked about naming your like procrastination Patty or Debbie Downer type, like giving a name to that negative fixed mindset and then giving a name to your like positive mindset. So it was pretty like funny and silly, but that's when they shared A Letter to Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert. Like he's the one who shared a lot of those like video clips, like the Facing the Giants one and stuff. I already shared that with my team. But I think my big notes were action requires effort. Is that the same thing you just said? Be resilient?
Yeah, but those were kind of all encompassing. I felt like I heard that more than once.
And then I think this was still the first day. Seemingly small things in your business can make huge results. And they talked about like the difference in the Olympics from like getting a gold medal to not getting a medal at all. And like how crazy small of a margin that was.
Yeah, it was like in a race, like he compared like the 100-meter dash or something, and it was like 0.1 second was the difference from the first and last place. Or it was really crazy how close they were.
Yeah, it was insane. And then it might be, just one more call or one more team post or one more anything that could be like the game changer in your business. So when you're like feeling like I'm just gonna quit, it's putting that tiny itty bit like more effort into it.
That's when they pulled in the 212 too. The 212 degrees.
Oh yeah.
Extra
boiling
degree is an estimate.
Oh yeah.
Power a locomotive.
Yes.
Who talked about the Chinese bamboo tree again? Was that Jason?
Yeah.
I think that was Jason. Yeah.
I still love that.
Well, he basically talked about it takes 1 to 3 years to actually grow, and you may not see results, but that's because you're building deep, growing roots, and then your 4th and 5th year is when you actually start seeing the results of that. It's when your bamboo starts growing.
Yeah, I really like that because you could
build wide,
right? You could visually see the little bamboo roots growing, but the bamboo wasn't actually growing, and then all of a sudden the bamboo shot up like crazy and the roots were still just as strong. So that was really neat. I like that one. Okay, so moving on, they moved into breakouts. The second day we had we had a group time, but then we had some breakouts. And then the third day we had breakouts, and the breakouts were mainly talking about the 5 fundamentals, and these were optional times. So some people didn't go, some people went, and it was all hunky-dory. But they kind of covered all of it in one afternoon, but like surface covered. So the 5 things are prepare, discover. Oh, I'm missing one. Nope.
Coach.
Prepare, discover, coach, connect, replicate. So prepare is refining but never losing sight of what your goal is, right? So you pressure their priority. So whatever they're prioritizing or whatever you're prioritizing in your business right now, you want to put pressure on that and prepare them. So like a new consultant, right? You've got the first shooting star kit that they want to get. They want to be able to sell their 500 in their first 15 days. So you put pressure on that and make that their priority, as it should be their priority, right? And then after that's over, what's the next priority? Well, sensational start. So you put pressure on the priority. So that's kind of how you prepare. What else did you guys get from the prepare part? I wrote a lot about a marshmallow because we had to build this tower and get the marshmallow at the top. My team won, by the way, just saying.
My team did not want to work together as a team.
My team did not either. We couldn't decide on a leader.
Oh gosh.
Ditto.
It was disastrous. But I do want to do that with my team because I think that it really makes you kind of think outside of the box.
Yeah. So they gave us like 20 spaghetti noodles, some tape and string, and a big jumbo marshmallow. And the goal was to get the marshmallow at the top, and whoever had it the highest won.
And it had to stand, though. It had to stay standing.
Stand, freestanding. You couldn't take it to the
freestanding.
table or anything.
Yeah.
You probably saw a picture of me on Facebook with our freestanding tower and this marshmallow at the top. We made like an Eiffel Tower. But it was easy for my group because there were only 2 of us. So it was like, it was a lot easier than a group of, if you're sitting at a table.
6 or 7.
Yeah. So the next one is discover. So thinking, who are you going to invest your time with? What do you want to know about your downline? Having question and answer time with your new recruit, or just getting to know them. And a lot that was talked about in this little breakout was don't overlook the listening. So look for consistency, people to look for that you want to talk to, that you want to discover. Consistency, sales, recruiters. Pay attention to clues for needing a way to travel or pay bills, different things that you can do to discover things about people. Like one lady shared in this breakout how she heard or she saw someone post on Facebook that they were trying to save money for this trip that their family's going on, and it's going to be so awesome, blah, 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 blah. Well, she saw that and she was like, oh, red flag. Like, she needs money. I got Scentsy. Like, we could do a fundraiser. She could join my team. Well, she offered her the opportunity, and the lady joined her team and started selling Scentsy. So just discovering new ways and thinking of different ways to approach people about the business opportunity, but also listening for those cues. Like, I wouldn't think that. It just doesn't come naturally to me. So you have to kind of think outside the box of what would make it, how would this business fit into what they need?
Well, I think that was one of the key things they talked about. Was it Deb that talked about it? Was listening?
I can't remember who did that breakout.
But I don't know if it was a breakout, but that was one of the aha moments for me too, was to listen, like to really just take a step back, stop spitting out Scentsy garbage, and just listen to what someone is saying to you or what they're posting on Facebook, or if you're overhearing a conversation, and that little piece that you like kind of, that'll be the reason they join.
Yeah.
Not because you're telling them what Scentsy does for you and all that stuff. You actually listen to what they are looking for.
I love that. That's good.
Like, I have it in like big, bold, listen.
Because it makes a difference. Like, I can, you know me, I mean, you guys know me, I can talk for an hour around myself and just talk about whatever. But it really makes a huge difference when you sit and listen to whatever people have to say. And I tried to do that at the table. Like, I tried not to just blah, 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 especially in the breakouts, because it was a smaller group and I was sitting by people I didn't know and they didn't know me necessarily. So it was interesting. Okay, so the next one was coaching. Okay, so you're directing, you're guiding, you're leading them, right? So like we kind of talked about earlier, how you're trying to get this person certified, this would be the coaching process where you're breaking numbers down. You're trying to get them to do this or that. But the big thing that they said was, don't assume that they know. Don't assume that they know how to make samples. Don't assume that they know or that they've read their little consultant startup guide, right? You can't assume that they know anything. So they broke this down. This acronym was TIME. It said, talk about it. So teach the basics and know what they want to know. So you ask, what do you want to know? What questions do you have maybe after you've read the consultant guide? Illustrate. So show them, maybe do an example of a follow-up call, or have them come over when you're making samples. If it's not feasible, FaceTime or make a little video showing them. Then mentor, you talk about how it went, whatever they were doing, and have that mentor time, and then empower them. So let them do it. Let them go. Let them try it and work it out. Asking questions is important. And one thing that they said is, what's stopping you? I really like that. What's stopping you from trying this new idea? Or what's stopping you from having an open house? What's stopping you from giving out 10 recruiting packets? What's stopping you from challenging your team to do this? Just when you're thinking about coaching people, when you're working with downline, when you're working with new recruits, you have to think, what's stopping them? Because they may come up with something that's stopping them. Well, my anxiety is stopping me from just talking to people. Or I don't have anybody to watch my kids. That's stopping me. So then you can go back to the drawing board and you can kind of work together and try and figure out some ideas of things that they could maybe do. Was there anything else from the coaching section that you guys got?
I liked when you're talking to your team, or anyone really, but instead of saying why, like why aren't you getting sales, or why didn't you follow up, to use words like who, what, where, when, and how, because it's less accusatory and less, it makes the conversation easier. So I've been trying to be more aware and trying to do, well, not really because I've been sick, but with my husband, why haven't you washed the dishes? I don't say that anymore. So instead of why, trying to change that first question word into something else. So it changes your sentence to something a little easier to hear.
Maybe a production type thing, maybe a process type thing, right? Like, I like that.
Who have you followed up with?
Yeah.
How many people have you followed up with?
Yeah. Or have you called, period. Not
Yeah.
even following up, right?
Yeah. How many people have you called? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next part was connect. So you're kind of connecting all of the dots. They're going to be, you know how we have a product training guide, this awesome thing we got this year? The product training guide. Do you all know we have this? Oh my gosh. It is the best thing ever. I sent it to my team at the beginning of this fall season and they loved it. So it basically just goes over all the products that we have. And so this would be a great little incentive to give. It was pretty cheap. And I would highly recommend doing this for your team. But they're going to be coming out with something similar. It's called a team building training guide. So it's not a product training guide. It's going to be a team building training guide. So it'll have just ideas and things. It'll have these 5 things, right? The focus on the 5, but it'll have some other things to help you build your team. Community, creating a culture, and connecting with the people in your team. So
it's going to mirror the consultant guide.
Yes, there you go.
The bigger consultant guidebook.
This one.
Yeah.
This is an old one.
Yeah, but the newer that, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. So, so when you're connecting, you think about all the connections that we have. We have us with our team members. That's a big connection. Building trust within those connections is really important. Team members with each other, because we want our team members to feed off each other and connect with each other and build relationships together, like on our team Facebook pages, so they feel confident that they can connect and communicate. connecting us to home office, our teams to home office. So things that will help do that will be the events, world tour, reunion, leadership, incentive trips. All of those things help connect us and our teams to home office. And then connecting us to the tools and resources that we have in place to help us with our business. So they're going to be doing some things to help us connect, but just one way for us, I mean, different way, there's lots of different ways for us to connect our teams to these things. Like that was the main idea, is that we want to connect our teams to the tools and resources that we have. Like sending this to my team, I had so many people text me and be like, I didn't even know we had that. Or I didn't even know we had a Scentsy bar or the car bar. There were so many things that they said that they were like, I didn't know we had that. I didn't realize this about that. And so it was really informative. So connecting them to those tools and resources is huge. Even if you send a link to it to them, like doing that is huge as well, because we're going to get the discontinued list come the 1st of February. And so connecting our team to that list is important. Just posting it on our Facebook isn't going to get the job done for everybody. For a chunk of them, sure. You know how many people engage on your Facebook team page, or maybe your group page with your SSD. So you kind of can gauge how effective it is when you do that. So connecting our teams to those things is really important. Anything else on the connecting part? So then replicate. I didn't really write anything down for this section. Did anybody else? I don't know why I didn't, because I think it was just replicating everything.
Reiterating and right.
Yeah. So replicate the process of the fundamental of the fives.
Well, it's basically you've just taught them and now they need to go out and do it. That's how I took that.
Yeah.
Just keep it going.
Which is hard. Like that, to me, how do you teach you, but then they have to go and do it? And that can be hard because that gap can sometimes be really big. Johnny posted a picture today. Is he gone? He's gone. Of the cliff, like there's two mountains and there's this distance between them, and there's a person laying in between them so that these people can walk across and get to the other side of the cliff. And I feel like this would be that process where like you've done everything, but you kind of still have to be there to help them get across the gap and close that gap so that they can get to the other side and really feel confident in doing that, replicating the process. Because it's really important to do. So my favorite quote, we'll just go between the five of us, share one more thing, and then we'll call it good. My favorite quote from the week was, to get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. I don't remember who said it. I don't remember what it was from, but that was my favorite quote. Because I think that really is what this business does for us. I think of a lot of us maybe have had it a little bit easier, where it's been easy to recruit and easy to get team members and easy. I'm not saying you've had it easy. I've had it pretty easy, where it has come pretty easy to me, where I've had to work, but it hasn't been super hard. Like I haven't had to really seek out recruits, but I'm at a point now, I've probably been at this point for the past 3 years, where I really should be seeking out new recruits. I really need to be sending out 10 or getting 10 recruiting packets out a month. So to get something I've never had, maybe I've had it a little bit, but I haven't had the results of actually really putting myself out there. I'm going to have to do something I haven't really done. Right. So I just think that for me was like yeah, you have to do something that you haven't ever done, or maybe you have done it, but maybe the process wasn't the right process. So that was my big aha. Vanessa, do you want to go? Did I take yours?
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I think overall just that I needed to spend more time getting to know my team and asking them the questions. Like I'm working on a survey because, you know, they tell us like you can use this as a fresh new start. And so I used to do a survey with my team and I just kind of stopped doing it. So I want to just like do a fresh survey, ask them each, you know, what is their goal? What do they want? So I've been asking them in messages, but I think a Google Doc would be a good way of just finding out more about them. What do they want? What do they want from me? How do they want to be recognized? You know, what is their love language? Like really spending that time with the team that I have and making sure that like I focus on it so that I'm not pouring attention into somebody who's like, I just want to get, you know, a good discount, or I just want to make like enough to get my nails done, or, you know, whatever it is, to focus on them. That coaching time was crucial. And then mine was just the mindset. Like I had my aha moment on that first day, and I even wrote it down that it was my moment. My breakthrough was just that I was what was keeping myself back. Like I was saying, you know, oh, I don't really want to, like, I'm fine if I stay where I'm at. Like, this is good. You know, I'm meeting my, like, what I need, and this is okay. But it was just my fear of failing, my fear of like, okay, well, I'm probably not going to get to the next step. So I'm just going to like, you know, not care, because then I won't be devastated if it doesn't happen or if I fail at it. So mine was just that I don't want to believe it, so that I can do it, because then it doesn't feel like a failure.
I like that. It's hard though, like to put yourself out there and make that goal and to make that vision, like, but if you obsess in the process, it will.
Yeah, you know, a realistic goal. Mine wasn't to promote, mine was for like team growth personally. And I just loved, I hope they like share this soon. So I didn't write on it. I actually wrote in my notebook instead. But
That's awesome.
Just breaking it down. This was so much more than like, I have a goal. Okay, what am I going to do? And then when you're like thinking, okay, this is the steps I'm going to take. No, what steps am I going to take to get those 10 opportunity packets out? Like, I need to make sure I break it down to like the smallest things. And so this took like, oh, this is my goal, this is a dream board, to a whole new level.
Yeah. I wrote on mine. Will you scan that or take a picture and send it to me so I can share it with everybody that's on the call?
Yes, I'll try and scan it. It's a little rough.
That's all right. Even a picture is fine. That'd be awesome. Thank you, girl. Okay. Danielle, you want to go?
One of my favorite quotes was, don't expect to be comfortable when you're growing, or growing when you're comfortable. And I don't know what else I was going to say. Sorry.
I love that.
I lost my thought.
You're good. Do you remember who said that?
I don't. I had it written down on, well, I can tell you. Yeah, I probably can actually. Is when we were talking about SMART goals.
If it was Deb.
So I'm guessing it probably was, because I think she spoke. I just really am excited that she's come on board. And I also realized that if I want my business to flourish, then I need to trust and really believe in Scentsy, because I am sometimes like, I don't know, and I get like a little wishy-washy.
Why are they doing it well? Why are they doing that?
Yeah, and I like question and I doubt things. And listening to all the superstar directors speak when they all came on stage, that was just so amazing to listen to all of these women just give their advice. But I realized when they really trusted the process and really started believing, that's when they had that moment.
I love that. I think I saw someone posted that on the leadership page. I should try and save it and share it, because that was really good.
I have the videos. I've recorded a video of it.
Will you post it on the We Are Family page so everybody can see it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Danielle. Okay, Barbie, you want to go? I unmuted you.
I had it in my brain and then I lost it because I was last.
We can
What the heck was it?
we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Teresa, are you there? Unmute. You're unmuted.
Okay, I was out of the room for a minute. Are we just talking about ahas right now?
Yeah, like what was your big takeaway, your favorite quote?
Okay, well, of course it was the don't take things seriously, not personally. But then I also liked, and I'm not sure, I missed the first few minutes of the call. I don't know if you mentioned about, and I'm trying to remember who said it. Having a strong growth mindset does not guarantee success, but it does put you in the driver's seat.
Ooh, that was good. That was Deb. Say that again.
Having a strong growth mindset does not guarantee success, but it does put you in the driver's seat.
So true.
Is she the one that said that they have a team of studs, not duds? That was funny.
Yes. That was her.
I just love her.
Let's see here. The 50-10 was big for me, and that I just got from the table.
What was the 50-10? Share that.
The 50 samples and 10 recruiting packets a month. That I want to get going. Hopefully
With your team. So passing those out every month, having 50 samples and 10 recruiting packets. Was it Barb? Was it you and Shauna that were doing that?
I preach that to my group like all the time. 50-10.
That's where I got it.
50-10, 50-10, 50-10.
I love that.
It doesn't always work out to 10 possibility packets, but I have 10 made at all times. And then the 50 samples, pretty much everyone in my group does that for the most part.
Yeah, that 50-10 was part of a Leap to Lead program I did last year too for my group. It was 50 samples, 10 recruiting packets every month. I remember doing that.
That's good.
The last thing that I had, I mean, in addition to, I know that we already had was Heidi's one quote about don't expect to be comfortable when you're growing or growing when you're comfortable.
I like that. Those were good. Thanks, Teresa. Okay, Barb, do you remember?
My isn't a quote, but I liked how everyone who spoke throughout the entire training, like every single day, they were very consistent with strengths and opportunities versus strengths and weaknesses. So like I will always say I suck at recruiting, my weakness is recruiting, and they changed the word weakness to opportunity. So it's always, I have the opportunity to recruit more. I have the opportunity to go for no. So that one word was, I don't know, for me that was huge. Opportunities instead of weaknesses.
I like that a lot. There were just lots of great things. I think for me overall, this was probably my favorite content-wise leadership that I've been to. And I've been to a lot of leaderships. Maybe every time I feel like that because I'm on the high, right? But I really think that the content was it was spot on. It was action oriented. It was driven. It made me like write some things down to obsess in the process. Like that to me was huge. And I think that as we go throughout this spring, I mean, the next, really just focusing on finishing this month out strong in whatever capacity that you're wanting to do with the incentive trip is going to be huge in getting the things that you want to get done. If you need to sell another 2,000 before the end of the month, you got a couple people you got to get certified, obsessing in that process, right, Rochelle? She's on it. Giving goes away because that's what we do. We got to give stuff away to get them motivated and excited and whatever. Sorry. But I think that as we obsess in the process, it's only going to, I know that when we obsess in the process, we're only going to grow in our business. To what capacity that is, we don't know. The capacity is as big as you want it to be. So I hope that you'll take that from this call and that you will obsess in the processes that you have in place, reevaluate them. Don't take it personal, but grow and open your mind to the possibilities that are there, because there's a lot of possibilities out there. It's just a matter of processing it, right? And doing the process that is going to get you there. Because I know that everybody can get to whatever they want. If you want to get paid at title as a director, or if you want to get paid at title as a star director, or paid at title as a superstar director, you have to obsess in that process. Break it down small and just keep doing it, because it will eventually, it might take a while, right? You're in the driver's seat. That's the most important part. And as you obsess, you will get there. So thanks for getting on the call. This was super fun. I love seeing so many of your faces that I miss seeing on a regular basis. Any questions or thoughts or insights? Maybe you had an aha moment tonight that you want to share. Please feel free. We'll give it a few more minutes. Hi, Emma.
Hi. Oh my God, I love listening to all this. And I did have an aha moment. Thank you for sharing. When I don't know who said it, but about breaking it down. So to get your new director under you, they need 4-star consultants.
Yeah.
And it's like, why have I never thought that way before? Why is it always about the figures, the end goal? And especially if you have people like, oh, there's like 20 in the team hitting director, and you're like, no, you really need more people than that. And so that was big for me. Thank you.
That. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Everything. I really miss not being there, so I appreciate you sharing.
Anybody else? All right. Okay. Well, thanks for getting on. Appreciate all of you. You're fabulous. Thanks for all you do. And we will be in touch soon, I'm sure.